Have you ever wondered if the history you know is incomplete? That maybe the stories passed down to us are only a fraction of what truly happened? That somewhere vital chapters have been erased, lost to time, or perhaps deliberately hidden from view? History isn't just dates and names. It's the story of us all, woven from countless lives, memories, and experiences that shaped who we are today. But when parts are hidden, we're left with only fragments, missing crucial lessons and warnings that could guide us. The gaps in our knowledge leave us vulnerable, repeating mistakes we might have avoided. Those who control history shape our beliefs and our future, deciding which truths are told and which are buried. Imagine a library with its most important books locked away, or a map with continents erased. That's what forbidden history does. It creates blind spots in our understanding, leaving us searching for answers in the dark. It's not just a relic of the past. It happens today in censored stories, secret archives, and headlines blacked out before they reach the public. Each suppressed story is a lost piece of our collective soul, making us more vulnerable to old mistakes and robbing us of the wisdom our ancestors tried to pass on. So, who decides what we remember? Who are the gatekeepers of our shared memory, and what motivates them to keep certain truths hidden? Uncovering forbidden history isn't just about the past. It's about reclaiming our identity, understanding where we come from, and building a more honest future for generations to come. In seeking these hidden truths, we empower ourselves to shape a better tomorrow, one where every story, no matter how uncomfortable, has a chance to be heard and learned from. Why hide the truth? Power, fear, and control. Throughout history, rulers have rewritten stories to protect their image, turning treachery into heroism, erasing shameful acts. Governments often justify secrecy as protecting the public, but it's really about maintaining control. Shame erases history too. Nations, like families, bury painful truths to preserve pride. Statues come down, textbooks skip chapters, and uncomfortable memories are quietly forgotten. But hiding history is an act of disrespect, assuming people can't handle the truth. It robs us of the chance to learn and grow. When secrets are kept, trust is broken and our understanding is limited. The keepers of secrets aren't protecting us, they're controlling us. Yet truth has a way of resurfacing, and history eventually finds its voice. The question is, will we listen or let the silence shape us? The Library of Alexandria was humanity's greatest archive, a beacon for knowledge from across the world. Its destruction wasn't a single event, but a slow erasure by fire, neglect, and fear. With every lost scroll, entire ways of thinking vanished. Scientific discoveries had to be rediscovered, philosophies were silenced, and wisdom was lost forever. Today, we live in the shadow of that loss, guessing at what was erased. The fall of Alexandria is the ultimate forbidden history, a reminder that knowledge is fragile. When we fail to protect our memory, we risk losing our very minds. In the tense and uncertain days of the 1960s, at the height of the Cold War, the U.S. military drafted a shocking and controversial plan, Operation Northwoods. Behind closed doors, high-ranking officials gathered in secret, convinced that drastic measures were needed to protect American interests. The idea? To stage fake attacks on Americans and blame Cuba, creating a false justification for war. The plan was designed to manipulate the public and sway the world's opinion, all under the guise of national security. The details were chilling. Hijackings, bombings, even the sinking of a Navy ship were all considered. These acts, if carried out, would have been used to create outrage and fear, pushing the nation toward conflict. Imagine sitting in your living room, watching the news of a national tragedy unfold, never suspecting that it was orchestrated by your own leaders. The trust between government and people would be shattered in an instant. Thankfully, President John F. Kennedy saw the dangers and rejected the plan outright, refusing to put innocent lives at risk for political gain. But the public didn't learn the truth until decades later, when declassified documents finally revealed the extent of the deception that had almost occurred. Operation Northwoods stands as a chilling example of how close a nation can come to sacrificing its own people for political goals, and how easily the truth can be hidden. It forces us to ask, What else has been hidden from the public eye? How many secrets remain locked away in government archives? The story was buried for years, but its warning remains as relevant as ever. History is filled with secrets, and not all of them stay buried forever. When leaders are willing to deceive, trust is shattered, even if the plan is never carried out. The mere willingness to consider such actions leaves a scar on the nation's conscience. Forbidden history isn't just about what happened, but about what almost did. The close calls, the near misses, and the lessons we must learn. We must remember these moments, these dangerous crossroads, or risk repeating the mistakes of the past. Only by facing uncomfortable truths can we hope to build a better future. The truth, once hidden, is a lesson we can't afford to ignore. It's a reminder that vigilance and transparency are essential to preserving our freedom and trust. For 40 years, the Tuskegee study deceived hundreds of African American men in Alabama, robbing them of their health, dignity, and trust in the medical system. These men were promised free healthcare and hope for a better life. But in reality, they were never told they had syphilis, and were deliberately left untreated, even after penicillin became a widely available cure. Doctors and officials watched as the disease slowly destroyed their bodies and lives, all under the guise of scientific research. The men became unwitting subjects in a cruel experiment, their suffering ignored. The men placed their faith in the system, believing they were being cared for, not realizing they were being used as test subjects for a secret study. Families suffered in silence. Children were born with the disease, and entire communities were left with deep pain, confusion, and a legacy of mistrust that would last for decades. The truth only came to light after decades, thanks to the relentless investigation of a journalist who refused to let the story remain hidden. Whistleblowers risked everything to expose the injustice. The Tuskegee study stands as a chilling story of profound betrayal and racial injustice, a reminder of how prejudice and unchecked authority can devastate lives. It shows the devastating cost when people are treated as objects, not as human beings deserving of care and respect. The men's pain was invisible to those in power. For years, their story was hidden, buried in confidential reports and official silence, as if their suffering could simply be erased from history. This forbidden history is a warning to us all. Unchecked power and secrecy can destroy lives, and the consequences can echo for generations. We must remember these men and their families, honoring their memory so that such a tragedy is never repeated. Their story demands our vigilance and compassion. The cost of silence is measured in human suffering, in broken families, and in the loss of trust that can take lifetimes to rebuild. And the wound it leaves behind can last for generations, a painful reminder of what happens when humanity is forgotten. When history is hidden, real people pay the price. The men of Tuskegee lost their health and lives. Their families inherited pain and mistrust. Generations suffer when injustice is buried. Wounds never heal, and trauma lingers. Silence divides us, creating a chasm between those who know the scars and those who don't. Lies like Operation Northwoods could have cost countless lives, all for the sake of secrecy. The powerful are protected, while the innocent are sacrificed. Hiding history erases empathy and accountability, leaving us disconnected and vulnerable. To break the silence is to reclaim our shared humanity. Why does this matter now? Because the shadows of hidden history still shape our world. Every secret document, every censored story, deepens mistrust in our institutions. Past betrayals like Tuskegee make people skeptical of authority, even when lives are at stake. The lies of yesterday poison the present, making it harder to solve urgent problems. When we only hear a sanitized version of history, we're doomed to repeat old mistakes. Hiding history is like disabling a fire alarm. We lose our warning system. Honest history is our best defense against repeating tragedy. The most dangerous effect of hidden history is the illusion of a single story. When only one version is told, we lose perspective, tolerance, and curiosity. We become trapped in echo chambers, unable to see other truths. The shadows of the past don't just obscure history, they darken our future. Only by facing them can we move forward. Today, we have more access to information than ever before. Secrets are being uncovered by journalists, researchers, and everyday people. But this is just the beginning. It's an invitation to question, to seek out silenced voices. The truth isn't comfortable, but it's necessary for growth. By embracing the full story, good and bad, we become wiser and more compassionate. Ask, what stories are missing? Whose voices aren't being heard? Every community, every nation has its forbidden chapters. The act of questioning is the first step toward discovery. The story of humanity is still being written, and we are its authors. Will we repeat the mistakes of the past, or write a new chapter of honesty and empathy? Forbidden histories are not just about the past, they're about us, right now. The truth will always strive for the light. The only question is, will we be brave enough to see it?